the ultimate prime center build in the game. You can get unlimited contact dunks in the paint no matter who's down there. You can play passing lanes like a pure lockdown and steal everything that comes your way. You can protect the paint with crazy snatch blocks while taking it coast to coast and greening from hash. You can shoot over defenders and green contested no problem. You can snag rebounds over any center and still finish strong. And the range can even extend out to the logo for easy, limitless threes. This build is broken. Yeah. What's good, YouTube, man? It's your boy Swag, back at it again with another. And this video has been long awaited, man. It's going to be the new updated best center builds for both poppers and inside centers. So I got the best of both worlds for y'all, man. The popper version is going to be HOFF'S exact build that he uses. And if you guys don't know, Hoff was the starting center for our black market team and officially listed as the #1 center in the game right now. But without further ado, man, let's get straight to the build. Heading into the builder, we're obviously going to go with center for the position. Now for height, 7 foot and 7'1", in my opinion, are the best heights for centers. But each height has its own pros and cons. But for Hoff's build, we're going to go with a 7-foot center. Now for the weight, this is the part of the build that I had a different opinion on. And when I talked with Hoff about it, he agreed with me and said himself that he would change it if he could. So for Hoff's build, he went with 256 pounds. Now the reason for that was because he wanted a specific body type, which he thought that was the weight that you needed in order to get the body type. However, that turned out to be false. So for my version, I went with 243 pounds. It's a little lighter, but instead of your speed capping out at a 65 like it was previously, you now can max out your speed at a 68. So going 7 foot instead of 7'1", the main reason for that was to be faster. And with this version, you can have the highest speed possible while still keeping that 90+ strength. Now for wingspan, I know we think center and instantly want to max it out since having longer arms will help with rebounds, but doing that does take a big hit on your shooting. And since this is a shooting center, we're going to go with a 7'6" wingspan. Now going 7'6" in specific gives you that 86 midi, which not only unlocks some of the best jump shot bases in the game for bigs, but also unlocks some key badges that will help you shoot lights out in the game. Getting to the attributes, we're going to start with the finishing. Now whether you're an inside center or a shooting center like this build, you want to go with a 90 standing dunk, man. Going with 90 in specific not only unlocks the elite big man contact dunks, but also key badges like gold rise up and gold precision dunker, which will make timing the dunk meter even easier and make you a monster in the paint. Now for the driving dunk, 65 is a nice threshold that gets you the athletic hangs off 1, which is one of the best packages. But we're going to go with the 75 driving dunk on this build. This is nice because reaching 75 gives us not only bronze posterizer, which for some reason this 2K you don't get posterizer at all just by raising your standing dunk, but you also unlock a lot of good dunk packages such as Giannis, side clutches off 1, baseline reverses off 2, and athletic one-handers off 1, which are all very good dunk packages to use. And as y'all seen the clips, man, with this high of finishing, teams will literally forget that you're a popper and think you're pure inside with how you're dominating the paint. Whether it's going back up after an offensive rebound, taking your backdoor cut out the corner, rolling to the basket after setting a screen, or even on the fast break, you can still dominate the paint. What I love about this build, having the higher driving dunk compared to my last center build video, which only had the 65, is that you can use this build effectively in both 5-out and PNR scenarios. Even if your main focus is to run PNR and just score in the paint and on the roll and not really have to shoot the ball at all, this build still has the ability to do just that while still keeping that elite shooting on top of it. Moving on to shooting, and the reason we went with the 7'6" wingspan in the first place is to max out that midi to an 86 and our 3 to a 79. Now, like I mentioned before, having this high of a rating allows you to unlock jump shot bases like Chris Bosh and Michael Porter Jr., which are really good. But as you begin to pass the 80 rating, which is what you would have if you decided to go with the max wingspan, you begin to unlock badges like Silver Deadeye, Silver Blinders, gold catch and shoot, and then at 86 in specific, you unlock Hall of Fame comeback kid and gold open looks, which according to test, gold open looks has a big increase from silver and will really help you knock down shots consistently. And as y'all see in the clips, man, catch and shoots in the corner, whether it's wide open or with the defender closing out, at the hash, coming off the pop, top of the key, fading threes, and even shooting from the logo near half court. This build is absolutely chicken, man. What I also love about having the high midi as well is that if defenders do close out to you in time and you don't feel comfortable taking that shot, you can take that one dribble in as the defender flies past you and take that easy midi jumper, which is an automatic bucket almost every single time. And for those who want HOFF'S jump shot is a personal preference at the end of the day. There can be a jump shot with the best green window that you personally don't like to use or you don't like how it feels. And that was the case with HOFF, because even though bases like Chris Bosh and MPJ, like I mentioned before, have some of the best green windows for bigs and do require that high rating, HOFF actually uses this jump shot right here, which only requires an 80 rating. But I personally know other centers who use Bosh and use MPJ and they love it and they're able to green crazy shots. So test it for yourself if you make this build and see which shot works best for you. But regardless of the jumper you decide on, man, with an 86 midi and a 79 3 like this build has, you are definitely a threat from the perimeter and will stress the defenders out trying to guard you. And then for free throw, we're gonna go with a 90 free throw for that gold open looks. Having this is really nice, especially for late game, to be a consistent free throw shooter. Moving on to playmaking, we're gonna go with the typical 92 pass accuracy for that Hall of Fame break starter, which in my opinion, every single center should have. Because you're getting so much defensive rebounds, as it's the power forward's job to box out and your job as a center to crash from the corner and get the rebound, we want to throw pinpoint passes every time that allow your teammates to easily catch and shoot the ball on the break. Now, don't get me wrong, you are still going to throw some bad passes with the 92. It's just how this game is, but it's a very rare occurrence when you do have the 92 with the Hall of Fame break starter. Now, just like I recommend you do with every single build you make, we're going to go with that 40 speed with ball. If you don't know, 40 in specific unlocks the normal dribble style package, which allows you to do this cross move right here that you see on the screen, and you'll be able to utilize that on this build to get open for middies or for dunks. It's a nice little dribble move that even if you don't have a lot of ball handle or if you're not a dribbler, you can still use this to get effectively open. Moving on to defense, we're going to start with perimeter and go to a 58. Now 58 in specific unlocks bronze off-ball pests, which helps with bumping the off-ball player when they're running, most commonly on the backdoor cut. Now this build can get up to a 66 perimeter, which would have been nice to have, but with everything else that I needed on the build, I couldn't afford to get it any higher. But regardless, even without challenger, being 7 foot tall with only the 58 rating, if you are in good position, you will get a yellow or red contest a lot of the times, like I see in the clips, and force a miss from your opponent, leading to easy points for your team. For steal, we're gonna max it out to a 67. Now I know you unlock bronze interceptor at 60, so going 67 kind of seems like a waste of attributes, but many competitive pro players and even Hoff himself has said that they have played on multiple different builds, some with 60 steals, some with 63, and finally with 67, and they notice a huge difference with the higher steal rating when going for the interceptions. And as the main job defensively from a center is to guard the corner while still being in a position to swing down to the paint if needed, being able to steal those corner passes when it looks like an open pass to the PG is a must, and this build does it amazing. As y'all see in the clips, man, whether it's on the backdoor cut, whether it's the center slipping and you pick it off, or you bait like you're gonna slip down and you actually steal the corner pass, the pass to the hash, you guarding two and choosing right and stealing the right pass. Like, it is so important to be able to steal the lane pass as a center guarding the corner. So having the max steal possible really does help a lot with that, and I really recommend that we max it out. Next, we're gonna go with a 78 block and a 65 interior. 77 block is required for bronze anchor, but we go with 78 to get that silver chase down. And then for interior, 61 is what is needed for the bronze anchor badge. But but we go up to 65 to get that bronze workhorse, which actually helps with chasing down long rebounds. Now, I know you may see the 78 block and 65 interior and think, man, this build is trash. It can't guard the paint at all. It's going to get destroyed every time. But in reality, this build holds its own in the paint pretty well. You can still get those nice blocks swinging from the corner or following your man on his backdoor cup. But what is most important, in my opinion, is positioning. With only having the 65 interior, if you position yourself correctly at the right time, you will wall up strong and force your opponent to go up with bad shots, as I see in the clips. Another big aspect is just the fear of opponents when they see a 7-foot center swinging down to the paint with their hands up. No matter what the interior may be, a lot of the times, even if they have good position, they would be too scared to attack and pass the ball back out. And because you don't really face post scorers in Prime, which is what interior D is mainly for defending, is to guard post moves and post scorers, you can rest easy knowing you're still going to be able to protect the paint on this build and get multiple stops for your team. As we move to rebounding, this is where Hoff took a little bit of a hit. Instead of going 99 for Hall of Fame rebound chaser like a lot of other centers do, Hoff decided to balance it out and do 93 O board with a 90 D board. Now 92 is what gives us that gold rebound chaser, and then 93 rating while also raising our strength to a 90. We also unlocked that Hall of Fame box out beast, which helps a lot for securing box outs and rebounds. Now obviously 99 is better than 93. Hall of Fame rebound chaser is better than gold. But when you account for everything that we have on this build, to still have 90 plus in rebounding on both attributes, you can't be mad with that. Especially when you're snagging crazy rebounds like y'all see in the clips, whether it's D boards or O boards. This build is a monster on the glass and will allow you to secure second chance points for your team. Moving on to physicals, we already kind of upgraded everything here because they were needed to show the badges in other areas. But just to recap, we went with the max speed at a 68. You needed at least 60, like I said, for silver chase down. But being the fastest you can be is always the right decision in my eyes, as the job of a center is to play kind of like in between the corner and the paint, in between corner and the hash, and just run rotations and all that. So being fast is super beneficial, especially in Comp Prime. Like I said, for taking a step at the hash play and then getting back to your corner, running to the paint to show for 1 second, and then running back to your man in the corner to not give up the 3. So definitely important. Now Excel, in my opinion, doesn't matter at all for centers, so we just leave that at a 53. It can't go any lower because it is tied to your speed. Now for strength, I recommend always going 90, as that unlocks badges like Hall of Fame box out beast, Goldie movable enforcer, but most importantly, gold brick wall, which is probably the most used badge as a center. And even if you're running 5 out, kind of like Hoff does with Joe and Black Market, Hoff still sets a lot of screens, whether it's off ball to set us up for 3s or doing pick and roll with Joe up top of the key. Like, even though we're a 5 out setting, we do run a lot of pick and roll, so Hoff still utilizes brick wall 100%. Now for vertical, you technically don't need 80. You can get away with 75 and not really lose any badges or anything. But I do believe the higher vertical does help out a lot with rebounds, so that's why we went with the 80. And then finally, with our last couple of attributes, we're gonna go with the 96 stamina, which is also really nice, man. That completes Hoff's Pauper build. Now let's get right into the best inside center build for all my people who are strictly pick and roll and don't really care about shooting. I got y'all with the best inside center, man. Let's go. So starting with the template, we are gonna go with 7 foot again. It is kind of like the best height for being big and getting everything you need on a center while still having some good speed. Now for weight, we do want to be the fastest we can be, as I said, but it's a little different from the last build because on this 2K, when you raise your wingspan, your strength goes down. And obviously this build being a pure inside center with no shooting, we want to go with the max wingspan. But because we went max wingspan, we have to raise our weight a little bit higher. So we go up to 248 pounds, which is the heaviest we can be while still keeping that 67 speed and that 90 plus strength. Starting with the finishing, again, this is a pure inside center, so we're really going to emphasize the finishing and go with an 89 driving dunk. Going 89 unlocks pro contacts off 2 and the pro contacts off 1, which would allow you to get crazy contacts on the road to the basket. You also unlock badges like Silver Posterizer, which help out a lot. Now for standing dunk, again, we go with the 90 for the elite big man contact dunks, as well as the gold rise up and gold precision. Going 92 does give you fast twitch, and I have seen some centers really emphasize like get 92, but I've seen tests from 2K Labs based on the fast twitch, and fast twitch gold really isn't any different from silver. So in my opinion, there's no really point on going 92. But as y'all have seen from the previous clips, man, 90 standing is all you need to completely dominate the paint. And now that you're adding the driving contact dunks as well with crazy dunk packages that will allow you to dunk from even further, you're really going to be annoying to defend for the other team. Another important thing you want to remember to do is go from 69 layup to 70. This is a nice little threshold to meet, because once you raise your strength, you'll see that going 70 layup unlocks Bronze Fearless Finisher, which will help you make those contact layups. If they so happen to take you out of the contact dunk, you'll still be able to finish consistently with the contact layups. Again, this is not a shooting center build at all, so we're only going to go with a 50 free throw. Now this is really common for inside centers to have, because once you pass the 50 rating mark on free throw, your mid-range and 3-point rating begin to go up as well, and that really takes away from attributes that you can use elsewhere. Having only a 50, you won't be as consistent, and you definitely are going to be kind of viable at the free throw line. But if you do find a good free throw that you know and you master the timing, you can shoot a lot of greens on the line. Moving on to playmaking, whether you're an inside or a popper, you want to have that 92 pass act for a Hall of Fame break starter. Break points is a huge part of Prime, so being able to get your guards easy shots and easy takeover progression on clean catch and shoots on the break is a must. Now, one big change in the playmaking area compared to the popper version is the extra ball handle and the extra speed with ball we're going to give it. I always say go with 40 speed with ball for the normal dribble style. We're actually going to go with a 62 ball handle and a 48 speed with ball. Now, the reason for this, because once we raise our acceleration a little bit, we see that we unlock Silver Big Driver, which paired with the elite finishing that this build has, we can definitely cause problems for the defense. Moving to defense, we're going to start with the steal and completely max it out to a 70. As I mentioned earlier, although interceptor is unlocked at only 60, going 70 not only unlocks the bronze right stick ripper, but reaching that threshold of 70, you see a big difference in your animations and an increase on how often you get the lane steals. Also, again, because this is a pure inside build and we don't have to worry about shooting, we do have that max wingspan, and that would definitely help as well when going for lane steals. That extra inches that you have on the wingspan compared to the popper version will be a benefit in going for those lane steals. For perimeter, we wanted to go at least 58 for that bronze off-ball pest, which does help with bumping your opponent on the corner cut like we mentioned before. And we did end up having some extra attributes, so instead of 58, we did go with the 60 perimeter. But again, being 7 foot tall and now with even longer arms than the previous version that we showed, you definitely are going to be able to get good contests and force misses from the other team that leads to easy points for your team. For block, going 78 like the popper version has for that bronze anchor and silver chase down is a nice budget rating if you can't afford to go any higher. But since we didn't have to waste any attributes on shooting on this build, we're able to get way more attributes on defense. So we're actually going to go with an 87 block for that silver anchor and gold chase down, as well as 74 interior. Now 72 interior is the requirement for the silver anchor, but we went up to 74 for that bronze post move lockdown. I know I did say that you don't go against a lot of post scorers in Prime, but we were only 2 attributes away from getting it, so I figured it was worth having. But with this upgraded defense, man, you'll be able to shut down your matchup out the corner even more with chase down blocks, as well as protect the paint better on rotations. Moving on to rebounding, 93 is a nice threshold to have for that gold rebound chaser and Hall of Fame box out beast like we had on the popper. But if we're not able to shoot the ball at all, like this build, which is a pure inside, we want to be able to dominate in other aspects. And that's exactly what we're going to do with this build, man, with an 86 D board and a 99 O board for that Hall of Fame rebound chaser, man. Now, like I mentioned before, Hall of Fame rebound chaser is a lot better than gold. So pairing that with the elite finishing that we have is a scary sight for the other team, man. And since you are never going to be on the perimeter waiting for the ball to shoot or doing a pop, you're always going to be rolling to the basket. You will always be in position to potentially get the offensive rebound, which is huge and can be game-changing in Prime. Moving on to physicals, we needed at least 65 speed for that gold chase down, but we do max it out to a 67 to be the fastest we can be, whether that's being fast for the rotations on defense or being fast enough so we can slip to the basket in the PNR as fast as possible. speed max is always the right decision in my eyes for a center. Now for excel, we keep it at a 52. It's tied to your speed rating, so we can't really lower it without lowering our speed. Now for strength, y'all know already, man, 90 should be the minimum for any pro-am center build that you make to get that Hall of Fame box out beast, gold brick wall, goldie movable. 90 is just the best sweet spot. And on this build, because we do have the 87 block, we actually need the 80 vertical. It's not like you can get it, you need the 80 vertical for that go chase down. And then finally, we put the rest of our attributes on stamina for that 96 stamina, which does give us silver workhorse, which is nice as well. And that concludes the build, man. And in my opinion, the best pure inside center build that you can make on the game right now. I gave y'all HOFF'S build, which is in my eyes the best popper build in the game, because as a team we've won every major Pro-Am league there is to win, and that was the build that HOFF is playing on. I also gave y'all the best pure inside build for all the people who don't really care for shooting and just want to dominate inside. I only ask one thing, and that is if you enjoyed the video, man, and the builds, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and turn noties on, man, because I'm going to continue to give y'all the best builds on the game. If you're still here and you watched all the way through, comment went 2 for 2, no question swag down below. And if you're interested in the best lockdown build or the best power forward build, I have those on the screen right now, man. I appreciate all the love and your support y'all have shown me, man. Until next time, y'all stay safe. God bless. Peace.